The hospital was alive with energy, a place where every corner bustled with activity. Nurses hurried past the reception desk, their scrubs a blur of color, while doctors engaged in serious discussions about patient care. The waiting room echoed with the soft beeping of machines and the murmur of worried family members. A child giggled as they played quietly with a toy, breaking up the tension that often filled such a place. Bright fluorescent lights flickered overhead, casting a sterile glow that made everything seem a bit too bright. Potted plants struggled to survive in the corners, offering a touch of life amid the clinical atmosphere. In one area, a group of staff members gathered, sharing snippets of laughter as they took a rare moment to relax between their demanding shifts. Amidst this chaotic scene, a figure stood out, a scruffy man clutching a baby in his arms. His unkempt hair tangled wildly, and his worn-out clothes hinted at long days and sleepless nights. As he entered the waiting room, weary and anxious, some staff exchanged glances and chuckles upon seeing him. Little did they know that this seemingly ordinary man was on an extraordinary mission, seeking help for someone he cared about deeply. The laughter would soon turn to astonished silence as the truth behind his appearance unfolded before them. As the scruffy man stepped into the waiting room, the atmosphere shifted slightly. He clutched a small baby wrapped in a faded blanket, their tiny face peeking out, wide-eyed and curious. The man's clothes were tattered, and his beard was unkempt, giving him a rugged appearance that stood out against the crisp uniforms of the hospital staff. His eyes darted around the room, a mix of worry and determination etched on his face. The nurses, catching sight of him, exchanged amused glances and muffled giggles. They whispered among themselves, making light-hearted comments about his appearance. "Looks like he just rolled out of bed," one chuckled, while another quipped, "I wonder if he knows this isn't a camping trip." Their laughter echoed in the sterile environment, but the scruffy man remained focused on the task at hand. Despite their jokes, there was something compelling about him that made a few people pause. His grip on the baby was tight yet gentle, revealing a deep sense of care. As he approached the reception desk, he shuffled his feet nervously, drawing even more attention. Little did anyone know that behind his rough exterior lay a heart filled with courage and a story waiting to unfold, one that would soon command their respect and admiration. As the man shuffled closer to the reception desk, the murmurs of laughter grew louder among the hospital staff. One nurse, wiping her hands on her scrubs, leaned over to her colleague and said with a smirk, "Next time someone claims they're going for a rugged look, I'll show them his picture." Another nurse chimed in, adding, "I've seen better grooming on a stray dog." Their laughter rang through the waiting room, echoing off the sterile walls. The group of nurses continued to chuckle as they observed his worn shoes and baggy pants. Though meant in good spirit, their jokes cast a shadow on what was shaping up to be an important moment for the scruffy man. The busy environment around them filled with other patients and families unaware of his true purpose. Some staff looked at him with raised eyebrows, their curiosity mixed with amusement. A couple of doctors paused mid-conversation to exchange confused glances at the spectacle unfolding before them. Ignoring the snickers behind him, the man kept focused on getting help for the baby, determination etched across his face. Little did the staff realize that beneath their banter was a man who had faced challenges far greater than any they could imagine. Waiting just beyond their laughter was a story that could change their perspective forever. As the scruffy man stood at the reception desk, his heart raced with anxiety. The baby in his arms, a tiny girl no more than a few months old, had been feeling unwell for days. He could feel her warmth against him, and he knew it wasn't just from being bundled up. The baby had been fussy and lethargic, and he feared she might be suffering from something serious. He had noticed the telltale signs, her pale complexion and lack of appetite, and knew that time was of the essence. After a sleepless night spent pacing the floor, cradling her in his arms, he decided to seek help. This hospital was his last hope, and he hoped they could figure out what was wrong. As he adjusted her blanket, he whispered soft words of comfort to her, trying to soothe both her and himself. He could hear snippets of laughter from the staff around him, but it felt distant compared to the urgency pounding in his chest. His focus remained solely on getting the care she needed. He knew that beneath the scruffy exterior and the jokes made at his expense lay a father desperate to protect his child, a father who would do anything to ensure her health and safety. As the scruffy man waited in the lobby, time felt like it was standing still. He could sense the eyes of the staff on him, their laughter echoing in his mind like a haunting melody. Each chuckle and whisper seemed to amplify his anxiety, making him feel even more out of place. It was as if he were a character in a play that he hadn't auditioned for, and everyone else knew their lines but him. He glanced down at his baby girl, her small body resting against him, and a wave of protectiveness surged within him. He wanted nothing more than to shield her from the judgmental gazes of those around them. The bright lights of the hospital felt harsh against his scruffy features, and he fought back feelings of shame for not looking more put together. Did they see him as just a man who had let himself go? Did they understand that he had spent every moment caring for her? With each passing minute, his heart raced faster. He knew he needed to stay strong for her sake, but doubt crept in. What if they didn't take him seriously? What if they dismissed his worries as mere overreactions? The weight of uncertainty pressed down on him like a heavy blanket, and all he could do was hope that help would come soon. As the moments dragged on, a nurse named Sarah stepped into the lobby to check on the patients. Her eyes fell on the scruffy man, and she noticed something glinting on his jacket. Curiosity piqued, she leaned in closer. There, partially hidden beneath his worn clothes, was a small medal, its surface catching the stark hospital lights just right. Sarah's heart skipped a beat as she recognized it. It was a Bronze Star, awarded for bravery in combat. Her laughter died instantly, replaced by a rush of realization. She turned to her colleagues, who were still sharing jokes about the man's appearance, suddenly aware that they might have misjudged him entirely. "Wait a minute," she said, her voice firm yet inquisitive as she approached him. "Is that a Bronze Star on your jacket?" The scruffy man looked up, surprised by the question. He nodded slowly, feeling both pride and reluctance flood through him. The atmosphere shifted as Sarah's words hung in the air. The laughter faded into an uncomfortable silence, and curious glances replaced judgmental stares. Whispers began to spread among the staff as they recognized the significance of the medal. Who was this man who had been carrying his baby through the hospital? The questions about his past would soon lead them to a story of heroism they had never expected. As the nurse, Sarah, engaged with the scruffy man, the atmosphere in the room shifted from judgment to fascination. She asked him about the medal, and his expression changed, a mix of pride and humility washed over him. "I earned this in combat," he began, his voice steady but filled with emotion. He spoke of the harrowing days he spent overseas, serving his country in a war that seemed far removed from this hospital lobby. He described a particular mission where he and his team had been under heavy fire while trying to rescue civilians trapped in a conflict zone. Ignoring the odds stacked against them, they pushed forward through danger because lives depended on it. He recounted how he had braved enemy lines to carry an injured soldier back to safety, risking his own safety for someone else's life. That act of bravery earned him the Bronze Star, an honor that both humbled and haunted him. Now, standing in the hospital lobby, he felt like a different man than the one who had fought with Valor. Life had changed since returning home, scars from battles fought both physically and emotionally lingered. Sharing his story was not just about recognition, it was also about reclaiming his identity as a protector, now focused on caring for his precious baby girl. The staff listened intently, realizing that beneath the scruffy exterior lay a true hero who deserved their respect and admiration. As the scruffy man's story unfolded, the laughter in the hospital lobby faded into a heavy silence. Nurses and doctors who had once been quick to ridicule now stood in awe, grappling with the realization that this unassuming man was a decorated war hero. Their eyes widened as they listened, and some exchanged guilty glances, reflecting on how easily they had misjudged him. A few nurses, particularly those who had laughed the loudest earlier, looked down, their expressions a mix of embarrassment and regret. The atmosphere transformed from one of light-hearted mocking to deep respect and admiration. They started to see him not just as a disheveled figure but as a symbol of courage, sacrifice, and an unwavering commitment to his family. As one doctor stepped forward, he extended a hand to the scruffy man, saying, "Thank you for your service." Others quickly followed suit, offering words of gratitude and acknowledgement. The staff gathered around him, no longer dismissing his ragged appearance, but instead expressing genuine concern for his daughter's well-being. In that moment, a bond formed between them, one built on understanding and empathy. The scruffy man felt a wave of relief wash over him as he realized that beneath the surface judgments lay the potential for kindness. Here he was not only a protector of his child but also recognized as a hero deserving of respect. As the realization settled in, the atmosphere in the hospital lobby became charged with sincerity. The nurses, once laughing at the scruffy man, now approached him one by one, their expressions filled with remorse. Sarah, the nurse who first noticed his medal, stepped forward, her voice steady but laced with emotion. "I'm so sorry for how we treated you earlier. We didn't understand who you are or what you've done. Thank you for your service." Other staff members began to follow her lead, adding their apologies and gratitude. "We misjudged you," one nurse said softly, her eyes glistening with tears. "It was wrong of us to laugh. You deserve our respect." Each heartfelt apology carried a weight of understanding, and slowly, the scruffy man felt their sincerity wash over him like a warm embrace. The doctors joined in as well, acknowledging their oversight in not recognizing a true hero before them. "We appreciate your bravery and sacrifice more than we can express," one doctor remarked, breaking the prior tension even further. As the scruffy man looked around at the faces of those who once laughed at him, he felt a sense of relief mixed with pride. He realized that this moment was not just about being judged by his appearance but about how they were now all connected through respect and shared humanity. It was a step toward healing, not just for his daughter but for himself as well. As the scruffy man stood among the hospital staff, a sense of reflection washed over everyone in the room. The laughter that had once filled the air was replaced by a profound silence, each person grappling with the lessons learned from this encounter. It became clear that first impressions can be dangerously misleading. What they once saw as a disheveled figure was, in reality, a man of great courage and sacrifice. In their newfound understanding, the staff recognized the importance of kindness and empathy. They learned that appearances can often mask extraordinary stories and struggles. The scornful laughter of earlier moments faded as they grasped how easy it is to judge someone based on looks alone without knowing their journey. This experience illuminated the deep connection they all shared in their humanity. The scruffy man's dedication to his child underscored a universal truth: parents will go to any length to protect their loved ones. Through this encounter, both the staff and the man were reminded of the strength found in vulnerability and the need for compassion in a world quick to stereotype. As they headed back to their duties, a renewed spirit of understanding took root amongst them, encouraging each to approach others with an open heart and mind. In that hospital lobby, they had not only embraced a hero but had also committed themselves to fostering an atmosphere of kindness for all who walked through their doors. In the heart of the hospital, an unexpected lesson emerged from what began as a moment of judgment. The scruffy man, once a figure of laughter, became a powerful reminder that heroism can come in many forms, often disguised behind ordinary appearances. His story was not just about bravery on the battlefield but also about the everyday acts of love and determination that define true courage. As the staff reflected on their actions and biases, they recognized that within their community are numerous unsung heroes, parents, caregivers, and everyday individuals who silently face challenges with strength and resilience. Each time they encounter someone who seems different or out of place, it serves as an opportunity to pause and consider the unseen struggles they might be enduring. This experience urged them to celebrate these everyday heroes who show immense courage in their daily lives. Whether it's a father caring for his sick child or a neighbor offering a helping hand without seeking recognition, these acts of kindness and bravery deserve acknowledgement. As the staff returned to their duties, they committed themselves to embrace compassion and understanding in their interactions. They understood that real heroism lies not only in grand gestures but also in the simple yet profound connections we make with one another every day. Through this newfound perspective, they would continue to honor the heroes amongst them, recognizing that everyone has a story worth hearing.